stole a lot of that style from Breaking Bad.
It's a great example.
Yeah, that's where I got most inspiration for like that filmmaking shit. Those little documentaries that I've done in the past, all of it from Breaking Bad.
That makes so much sense now. I did not put that together. Now I'm putting it together. Like all those shots where he'll have the product like up, whatever it is, in front of you, like up close. Like they'll be taking the keys out of the locker, and you'll have the shot of like the key. You did some. That's funny.
But the best thing about Breaking Bad is like the way they shot that was they would mix so many like super tight shots and immediately cut them with super wide angle shots. So like they would go crazy by going back and forth between super like tight zoomed in shots to super wide shots. And
I never gone
the way that it's weird. You got to be like a cinematographer.
I love that shit.
Type nerd to understand this kind of shit.
I love that shit.
But the way that you kind of use lenses can like have a dramatic effect on how people process the documentary, and that's what I learned a lot. I learned a lot about that from Breaking Bad.
What are your other main inspirations?
Kind
of putting you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I like True Detective. The first season of True Detective was one of my favorite shows ever.
Might be the best season of TV ever made.
It really, really was. With Matthew McConaughey, dude, and Woody Harrelson. That was fucking
Will
insane.
you shut the fuck up?
Yeah.
They're a sick duo.
You say the dumbest shit sometimes.
I'm trying to think, like, what else was really good besides Breaking Bad, True Detective? I don't know. I can't think of anything right now. Those two definitely like top 5 for sure. But, you know, like we were talking about earlier, like transitioning from communicating shit with just like lenses and like light and lenses is what all it is. Then going into just like something like this, just talking back and forth and communicating with someone, it's night and day. It's completely two different worlds.
Yeah, it's two different things.
And it's it's completely but it's kind of the same thing though. It's kind of the same thing because you're
saying communication.
Well, one thing, this is more of communication. That I mean, it's both entertainment, right? They're both forms of entertainment. It's both forms of media. They're on the same exact medium. They're both on YouTube. You're kind of doing the same thing. Like I'm not really interviewing you right now, but when you're talking to somebody like Shane Lee or like that lady Kim, you kind of just like, I'm in a dark alley with a camera on a tripod, kind of having a conversation like this. I'm cutting myself out of it.
Right. I understand what
and
you're
I can
saying
add in all this cool looking fucking B-roll, music, drone footage, whatever it is, to spice it up and make it look better and give it more of a vibe, more of a feel. You know what I mean? Watching those things is more like it's like a vibe, like watching like a really cool music video.
Way different. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah. I was thinking of something else at the beginning, but yeah, and like you also,
it's a different kind of skill. It's a different kind of intelligence, I think.
But here's the thing because we were literally talking about this like right before we walked in here.
Yeah,
we got cut off, but good spot to go back into it. First of all, for all your fans out there who I assume have pretty much, I assume you've seen Deckhands at this point. It's phenomenal. But that fourth part in particular with Kim, some of the best, and the word best is not great, but bear with me. That is, for my money, some of the greatest 15 minutes of storytelling I have ever seen in my life. And it would, seriously though, like a lot of that series, it's sad and funny at the same time. Mm-hmm. That one, it almost appeared for a second like it was gonna be. And then you see this woman's story and what happened to her. And the fact that you talk about, I get to be behind the camera and designing all of it. You also had to, of course you were there. You can't control what's going to happen to her. And obviously some very advantageous things for filmmaking happen while you were with her, let's be honest. Right. But you also, while you're doing this, you're talking with her. And the shit you got her to open up about. Yeah. It struck me when we were talking outside, you don't comprehend how difficult that is because, fuck, man. I mean, the heaviness of that. I went and looked it up after this, I did tell you. But for people who weren't there listening to us when we were talking, which is nobody, I went up and
you looked up each one of those people.
Yeah, I did. And I saw the comment sections were like, "Oh, R.I.P. these people." I'm like, "Damn, this is in the last like 4 or 5 years."
They all died.
They all died, and she died like 3 months after this video.
She was the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
So I go and I find her obituary. Now, mind you, and for anyone who hasn't actually seen this woman was molested by her father,
Who was a cop.
Yep, when she was a little
forgot
girl.
That. From age 4 to 17.
Right.
You got the visual details of her explaining exactly how it went down. He impregnated her, made her have the kid, and took the kid from her, and then she ran away. And that's how her life got out of control. But first of all, I mean, that's like, I don't even know what to say about that. But you also get all that on camera. You capture this woman's tragedy. I mean, she had a horror anthology series of a life just for the first 17 years, and then the rest of it was just like a sad documentary, right?
Right.
And first of all, it reminds you of the perspective of all other people around you, because you're like, you never know. You never know who's been through what, where they're from, what they're about. You know, there's good and there's bad with just about everyone besides Adolf Hitler, right? So, you know, there's exceptions, but by and large, most people, there's good and bad. And like with her, when I went and looked up her obituary, that hit me so heavy because it says her name, it says the day she was born in 1968, the day she died in 2017, and then no one has come forward, period. And that's all it says. And I'm like, okay, somebody was inhabiting this earth for 49 years based on the fact that you spent the first 2 minutes of the episode asking a bunch of people where you could find her. People knew her. People knew who she was. She had a nickname. She was arrested by cops sometimes. They knew her. The jail systems knew her. You know, she grew up somewhere. She had some family there, obviously not a good one, but people knew her. And she never had a shot. She said it on camera, too. You got her to say this. I never had a childhood. And that was tragic to me because she actually knew that. Most people, at least what I've seen of people who have tragedy, like they know that, but they don't.
You don't admit it.
Right, exactly. But she was like, no, I didn't have one. It was taken from me. Because he would come out, I'd hear his keys jingling, and I'd know he was about to rape me on the beach. Like the whole.
Like running down the beach, yeah.
The whole thing. And like, you get all this, and I'm like, if Danny had not gotten this 15 minutes right here as a time capsule for anyone to watch in the future, this woman's life would be Kim, whatever her last name was. I don't even remember. It's bad. But was born on this date, died on this date.
Yeah.
Hollywood Kim.
Yeah.
No one's come forward. Someone reads that 200 years from now. They go, oh, man, nothing happened. And it's like, well, no. A lot happened.
Yeah.
And, like, we should learn from that, too. Like, if people can, one person out there can take something from that and be like, oh, I'm in a bad situation, too. Like, I don't want to end up like that. Or, you know, what about my friends so-and-so? They don't strike me as well. Maybe I should talk with them. You know, that's a tragic, insane situation, but it happens. Things like that happen.
Yeah, it's weird too. I think it does something to them, to their minds when you kind of like immortalize them on the internet, because they all became like instant celebrities down there on the beach.
Yeah,
like
they did.
People would come down from different states, because this is a big transient tourist area too, and a lot of people would come down like and see them at bars, or come down to even try to find them.
Take
They'd come.
pictures with Shane Lee and shit.
They go to Madeira Beach just to try to find those guys, and then like when they go on there, like every time after we did those first episodes, we kind of like, we would always go down there every couple months or every month, like trying to catch up with them, see how they're doing and see what's up. And they'd be like, all they want to talk about is their video. Like, my video, you should read that fucking comment on my video. Like, what the fuck's my video? Like, can we do another video? Can we do another video? And it was like, it's, I don't know what it does, but psychologically it did something to them.